afternoon. My name is Janelle Anderson, and I'm here doing a interview with Miss Tiffany Jenkins. She is an administrative supervisor of social work with an DoD installation, and this is for the supervision class for Dr. Stephanie Hicks Pass. All right. Again, Miss Jenkins, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
It's great to have you here today.
Good to be here.
All right, so let's get into the questions. What made you decide to be an administrative supervisor?
I just wanted to be able to help the community out.
Okay, and what is the population that you serve?
I would say about 2,000.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a specialty with the population?
I also work with the special needs team, and that's where families that come in with behavior issues, with children with behavior issues, I kind of help them deal with the challenges that they deal with in some of this environments.
Okay, so within that, how many people do you say that you supervise within your team?
About 6.
Okay, about 6 on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and do you have any challenges working with those 6 people in your team?
There can be some challenges, but you have to just go in with a positive attitude, be tough with them. Sometimes you have to give criticism to help them critique their job to where it helps them to be better at the job.
Okay, and I know that administrative is a bit different than actually being clinical, which, of course, if anybody doesn't know, clinical is more the therapy side and administrative is more the paperwork side.
Right.
So why did you choose administrative more than the clinical side?
Well, it's a little bit easier. We do deal with a lot of paperwork, especially with the special needs team, and that paperwork, once the families come in, that has to go up to our Army Public Health nurse, and there are what it's called a MEOT team, and we have meetings to where we can come together and decide, what we can help how we can accommodate those families. We also have other paperwork that comes in, like waivers for shots and different things like that. So we do have procedures and policies in place for that.
Okay. Well, I mean, of course, I know that you said it was a bit easier. So overall, with your team of 6, with your team of 6, do you think that those people were originally a good fit for being administrative, or you had some fine tuning to do?
We did have a few fine tunings to do. Couple, they're not meeting the needs. So that's when we go back to the drawing board and, we figure out what trainings is needed for those employees. Now, the team that I have now, they are a great fit. Everyone works as a team. We do a lot of training, during specific times of the day to make sure everyone is on board and the same page.
Okay, so I know administrative paperwork. What happens if one of the paperwork gets lost, or what if it's not filed properly? How do you handle things like that in the office?
I typically pull that person aside. We kind of backtrack to see what we can do to find that paperwork. If all fails, we we'll get the paperwork refilled. Of course you have to apologize and things like that, but then I bring them back in and kind of explain where they went wrong, and do a little bit more training.
So do the client ever have a problem?
Sometimes we do, but there's a way you can just still have that positive attitude to say, hey, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, and then we kind of take a step ahead and just push that paperwork through.
Okay. So basically it's kind of like correcting and then, provide for it. Okay. So typically speaking, I know that you're supervising and you probably have a manager over you. How do you respond or tell your manager that, hey, you messed up? Is it like an accountability type of thing, or like how did you learn to do that?
especially it's very accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in accountability because if you don't take accountability, then that kind of puts you're not trusting your your employees,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the most important thing is accountability.
Okay. So working with the population that you're working with, why did you choose that population?
Um, Being a military spouse myself, I had to figure out a lot of things. So I came to the conclusion, a lot of these families need help, and what better way into helping them get through some of the challenges they face sometimes.
Okay. So, has there been any client that you have not been able to help as a social worker that has ever stuck out in your mind?
No, we've never had where we couldn't help them.
In this position?
Yes.
Okay. What about in your whole career as a social worker?
Yes, we've had, some where they weren't able to be helped, but we found other avenues that was out there to help them.
Okay. So, okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, with me as a new social worker coming into the field, how can I decide what would be best for me, in comparison with, like being clinical or administrative? What would you think would be a good advice for me to decide which one would be a good fit?
I would definitely say you probably would just need to kind of see where you fit, like, going in with a positive attitude,
Mm-hmm.
finding your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
and what would be a best fit for you.
Okay. That's actually quite understandable. So you're suggesting I just try both of them?
Right.
Well, you know what? I think that's a fair shot. Try both of them. You're right. I never know what I would like.
Right.
I'm a bit scared,
But don't be scared. It all come together once you find your purpose and what's going to be the best fit for you.
I like how you're saying a positive attitude because, some of these things could be a bit, I guess scary as a new social worker going out there. But just like you said, have a positive attitude, that can do attitude, is definitely going to make that big difference for us. Do you have any words of wisdom that from your years as being a social worker? I think you told me before the interview that you've worked as 14 years as a social worker.
Yes.
So any words of wisdom aside from having a positive attitude, any, that you can go ahead and give me as a newbie just starting out?
You definitely have to go in knowing that there are going to be challenges, but you definitely have to, as some people say, have that tough skin to go, because you're going to run into different situations, different challenges, things that may make you even like, oh my God, cry. But you have to go in knowing that you're there to help and rectify the situation. And just going in, like I said, with that positive attitude, but you have to be tough and have that tough skin.
Okay. So can I ask you a question? I'm learning to work on my neutral face, right? Don't laugh at me. I'm learning to work on my neutral face. And I know that was one of my things. I know you don't really have to have a neutral face when you're working administrative because you're mostly working behind the scenes. So can I show you my neutral face?
Sure.
Is it like this? How does it look?
You look a little mad, to be honest.
Okay. So is this better?
Yes, that's better.
Can I see your neutral face?
You have a little smile.
Oh, okay. I guess I still got work to do.
Just a little.
Well, Tiffany, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for interviewing with me today. And it's been a great pleasure. I've learned a lot from you, and I hope that you enjoy this interview.